Directions. Find the word or words with the same meaning as the underlined word. Circle the letter next to your answer. On this test, if you need to pause after I read the question and answer to be able to answer your questions on your test, please do so. Number 1, she looks fabulous in her new dress. Tired, scared, extraordinary, unattractive. Number 2, he wants to continue browsing in the library, studying, casually looking, napping, making noise. Number 3, they will be inspecting the factory tomorrow, carefully looking at, thoroughly cleaning, changing the location of, building. Number 4, the town has started a project to widen Main Street. Application, idea, permit, plan. Number 5, an audience usually applauds after a great performance, remains quiet, claps, yells, leaves. Directions. Find the word or words with the same meaning as the underlined word. Circle the letter next to your answer. Remember, pause if you need to answer the question after I've read it. Number 6, my teacher is very special. Good, proper, unusual, ordinary. Number 7, her new car was shiny, sparkling, dull, blinding, clean. Number 8, tomorrow is supposed to be a beautiful day. Cloudy, gorgeous, adequate, awful. The light in this room is so dim that I cannot read. Brilliant, murky, dull, faint. Number 10, he was unaware he was late for class. Conscious, ignorant, ignored, innocent. Number 11, the apple crisp is delicious. Tasteless, sweet, tasty, rich. Number 12, the wind blew fiercely during the storm. Strongly, quickly, weakly, gently. Listen closely while I read the story. Cast your vote. In 1789, Philadelphia was the largest and most important city in a brand new nation. The 13 colonies of Great Britain had just won a war. They had become a new country called the United States of America. Every country needs a government. Leaders from all 13 states meet in Philadelphia to create one. This group, called the Congress, wrote a constitution which set forth the rules for the government of the United States. The United States is a republic. This means that the people vote for the leaders who will represent them. Leaders speak for your views on issues and work to pass the laws you support. In 1789, very few countries allowed their citizens to vote. Even in the United States, only certain citizens could vote. The Constitution said that white men could vote if they were at least 21 years old. This was less than 30% of all Americans. Over time, the laws changed. Americans fought a civil war to free African American slaves. Soon after the war, the government passed new laws. African American men began voting in 1868. Women had fought for the right to vote all along. Abigail Adams, later the First Lady of the country, urged her husband John to remember the ladies in the new code of laws. But Congress did not agree with this view. American women marched in parades and held protests in an effort to change the law. In 1920, Congress finally changed the Constitution so that women could vote. In 1924, Congress passed a law stating that American Indians were full citizens. This meant that they had the right to vote. Indians had been in North America much longer than any group of people. However, they were among the last to be allowed to vote. Many white people in the South did not want African Americans to vote. They charged a tax for voting called a poll tax. Many African Americans were too poor to pay the poll tax, so they did not vote. In 1964, Congress declared that poll taxes were illegal. Thousands more African Americans could vote. America was at war with Vietnam during the 1960s. Many teenagers protested against the war. Teenage boys were especially angry because they could be forced to serve in the army. They argued that if they were old enough to be sent into battle, they were old enough to vote for the leaders who sent them there. In 1971, the government lowered the voting age to 18. They agreed it was only fair that soldiers in the army should be able to vote. Question 13. Which group could vote before any others? American Indians age 21 and over, teenagers, white men age 21 and over, women age 21 and over. Number 14. When did the government outlaw the poll tax? 1789, 1920, 1964, 1971. Number 15. The last group of people to be given the vote was teenagers, American Indians, women, men. Number 16. What did the leaders do after they arrived in Philadelphia in 1789? Fought a war, remembered the ladies, changed the laws, wrote a constitution. In 1971, leaders expressed the opinion that teenagers should not serve in the army, protest the Vietnam War, run for office, be allowed to vote. Number 18. The author wrote this article in order to entertain the reader with exciting true stories, recount the history of voting in the United States, persuade the reader to register to vote, persuade the reader to change the laws. Number 19. Which law was passed first? The law giving Indians the right to vote, the law outlawing the poll tax, the law giving women the right to vote, the law giving teenagers the right to vote. Number 20. From the information in paragraph 7, you can conclude that only southern states charged a poll tax. African Americans were wealthier than white people. Southern states did not charge a poll tax. Northern states charged a poll tax.